Hello, everyone. My name is Triton and I'm here today bringing you a book review. Was a bit surprised that people really enjoyed my previous book reviews, so I thought that I would make a few more. Maybe go over all the books that I've read, but we'll just have to see what happens. So the first book I wanted to do is one of my favorite books, which is The Fundamental Principles of Go by Yilun, which you can see over there on the right-hand side of the screen. Now, I agree with the title of this book, while I also disagree with it. It says the fundamental principles of Go, but it doesn't cover all of the parts of the game of Go. For example, it doesn't have late middle game information, doesn't have end game information. Its major focus is on the opening and early middle game invasions and reductions. And it is a book that I believe is suitable for maybe 10Q to 1 Dawn. If you're within that range, I feel like this book will more than likely help you solidify your opening and early middle game play. So just a quick info about what's inside the book, and then we can go on to the example that I've pulled out from it. The book is pretty exhaustive in what it covers in the opening. For example, it covers the 4-4 point and what's good about it, what's not good about it, how you should use it, etc. And of course, 3-4, 3-4, 3-3, 5-4, 5-3. It covers a little bit of everything, which is really cool, but it's also very basic, which is why I say it's suitable for double-digit Q all the way up to Dawn level, because it starts off on these really simple ideas of the first move of the game, which is sort of interesting. And then it gives you a basic ranking system for you to use when you are trying to play a solid opening. Tells you about key points for influence and key points for attack and defense, and then how to use Joseki effectively. It covers like the relationships and combinations of stones, like 4th line versus 3rd line. And lastly, it covers a pretty nice in-depth section about invasion and reduction, telling you about the basic techniques you can use, and then going through and giving you, let me see how many, 10 different formations and the common invasion and or reduction points and the common sequences, which is quite a lot of solid, good information, especially for the beginner player. If you just don't know how to do things, or you don't know to play in the opening, or you don't know how to play, or not play, but how to manage your stones in an invasion, etc., gives you a good, solid foundation to get you more confidence in how you are playing the early stages of the game. So the example I have from this book is from chapter 2, I believe. It's relationships and combinations, so making sure your stones are working together. And I felt like it was a really great example of stuff that we had actually seen in real games, and it shows why it was not necessarily the best way to play. So the first game here, so in this first example, you can see that black is trying to go after a very speedy opening, and white is playing very solidly. And even here, black tanukis this somewhat weak formation in order to try to pressure this middle stone. So black's just trying to get a very fast development. But if we go through the game, as you can see, like white's playing extremely normal moves this entire time. We can see that at this point, when white plays this last big move on the top here, that black is actually really far behind. White has a decent amount of points along the bottom, decent formation a decently strong formation over here, and a very nice corner on the top left. Whereas black's position here is not really going to get him too many points. It's just going to be a weak group that has to live. This is a pretty small corner, but it's not too bad, like maybe 10 points. This formation is okay, but it's still invadable. And in this formation at the top, it's kind of thin and doesn't really have too many points yet. Not to mention that these stones in the middle are only reducing white and not accomplishing much else. So where did black actually go wrong here? And the book provides a couple examples of where black could have potentially gone wrong. But the most important thing that they say in the book is that black stones are not really working together. For example, this invasion in the bottom left corner is just making these two stones here weaker, and it's actually even making this J4 stone weaker because it's going to be strengthening white. So this was a bad invasion because it hurt black's other stones that were already on the board. And then the book actually says that probably the biggest mistake here, like yes, you could potentially say that a couple other moves on this board might have been a mistake, but the most important mistake here is that black was trying to have a very fast opening, and this move here at R8 is saying that black is going to pressure the R10 stone here. When white jumps over to here, black then backs off like this, there we go, like this, and this allows white to easily settle his group and not have any worries. So black said that he was going to pressure white, but then black backed off. So it's possible that black should have done something like this. Then if white jumps out or something, black can go back and play the same move he played in the game, but this is already a much stronger situation. He used this stone at R8 to actually accomplish something, whereas in the game, this stone at R8 is not as useful as it seems anymore. Black stones aren't really doing anything, which was kind of interesting, I thought. So then there's another game, and the idea was that black learned from this game and tried to play in a more solid way, rather than trying to play extremely fast like this. So let me open up that one. So in this game, black is going to play very solidly. This is just Joseki. So again, white is just playing very normal looking moves. This one might not look too normal. This one's eyeing the invasion in black's area. And black defends. But white is just playing very normal looking moves, like just followed up with this Joseki, just enclosed his corner, is growing the bottom side, strengthening his position, approaching, all these are just very normal, solid moves. And black is playing in a way that his groups are alive, like very, very secure. Like even this move is a very secure move. But you see at this point in the game, if you start to look at the balance of points, white's ahead again. So like black maybe has 50 points at the most, whereas white's moves did not really look like white was trying to pressure black too much, just extremely solid and simple, the same way that black was playing. But if you look at white's points, white is almost at 60 points. So there's a pretty large difference in this opening. And neither side really has good invasion points to aim at. So if the game continues on from this point, it's very unlikely that black will be able to make up the difference. So again, where did black go wrong? Last time he was playing too quickly, whereas this time he was just playing in a way that was too over-concentrated. Because you have to do a mixture of quick moves and solid moves. So let's go to the last mistake that black did. Like this wasn't necessarily bad, strengthening his group. But if we go to this area, which was the last mistake, this move here is strengthening, this move is strengthening these two stones, which are already strong. After white played this and black jumped up here, this area is already strong. So this move is not accomplishing much. When you're strengthening something that's already strong, that would be not a very efficient thing to do. So in this case, you'd want to try to play a bit more fast, like this move here. With this move, you're securing the corner, and if white wants to try to fight back, it's going to be difficult because black is strong on both sides. You consider other moves as well, but this is just a very simple one. But you can see that there's already a huge difference compared to this. A huge difference here. A very large difference in points at the very least. So if you go back a little bit more, black's moves weren't necessarily bad, but again, like here, Black invested so many moves on this left side of the board that allowing white to get this invasion feels really bad. So black plays another move to prevent the invasion. Now it's probably bigger to play somewhere else, of course, but if you get this overwhelming feeling that you have to protect your investment, and it's not like pretty late in the game, like this is pretty early in the game still, then that means that something must have gone wrong in what you were doing here. Example, this sort of position here. I wouldn't say the mistake is here, but let's just see what black is saying with his moves. Saying that he wants the left side of the board with d6. And so white lets him have it. And then this looks like a pretty natural follow-up, but black ends by playing this move, which does connect up his two areas, but white gets the first move on the other side of on the other part of the board, which is potentially a bit bigger. This early in the game, this move here at d10 is strengthening the left side, which was already strong. And so were these moves here. They were strengthening the side that was already strong to begin with. So you're not worried about white pincering here because you're going to be able to attack the stone. What's more important at this point in the game, again, is to be a bit faster in this case. You could just be very simple and enclose the corner, or you could try to shoulder hit or approach in some way here. But the right side of the board is the biggest side of the board right now, and the left side is already strong. So there's no need to invest more stones in that area. If this was somewhat difficult to understand, then it's probably a good reason to get the book, because the book goes into great detail about how to deal with situations like this. I already mentioned that I think anyone from double-digit Q all the way up to the Dawn level can benefit from this book. It's just as the name suggests, it's a great way to get a good solid grip on your fundamentals, but especially for the opening and early middle game. And I feel like this book pairs extremely well with middle game related books, usually Tesuji or shape related books. My other favorite book is The Theory and Practice of Shape, which I think complements this book extremely well. If you have any questions, comments, you can leave them, of course, in the comment section below the video. If you have any suggestions on other books that you want to see me cover, I might have it, I might not have it, and I might be willing to buy it. Depends on how much it is and all that. But I hope you enjoyed this review. I definitely do hope you go and check out this book because it is one of my favorites. And I guess that's about it. So see you next time.